Bride wants a refund after her husband had an affair with my second shooter. This is from a Reddit forum and it's been sweeping the industry. If you haven't heard this, just buckle your seatbelts. Bride wants a refund after groom had an affair with my second shooter. I mean, what kind of headline? I mean, you here, right? That's a good headline. Earlier this summer, I shot a wedding. My typical second shooter couldn't make it. So I found someone else online who I felt did good work. And before we just berate her for selecting a second shooter that she hadn't worked with before, this happens. There's always that unicorn of days as like in weddings where no one can be found. All of your regulars, even though you have like 5 different regular photographers and 20 different regular assistants and backups, there's just that one unicorn day every year where everyone has their wedding that day. So no one can find the regular help. And then what do? Well, you go through all your recommendations. Who knows if she did that? Obviously that should have been the first choice, but she did say she went online, and that can be tricky. One, it can be tricky because with wedding photography, you can, or really any photography, you can so easily show like a website or a portfolio of like all your best images, and then you actually suck the day of, because you can't tell how good that person is just by those photos. So when I look for someone that I haven't worked with and I'm in a jam, obviously I'm looking for referrals, but I always ask to see a raw files from an entire wedding they shot. That's how you know. That's how you can tell at least what they're capable of. And you know, it's not like it has to be perfect. You just have to know what the expectations are. Red flag number 1, you're hiring somebody online. Her and I did the wedding and everything seemed business as usual. Photos were edited, delivered to the client, all was good. Guess she was a good photographer. That's a good thing. Then this morning, I get an email from the bride. Mind you, this was only, she said it was earlier this summer, so it's still summer right now. Like this is the same season. So this is like probably happened all of 60 days after the wedding. I got an email from the bride. She was wanting a refund because the lady I had hired as a second shooter for the day ended up sleeping with her husband at some point after the wedding. Ready for this? She also included photos from his phone to prove it. First of all, where are these photos? Why haven't I seen the photos of the second shooter sleeping with a groom? How do you put a Reddit post up like this and there's no second shooter? I need to see the photos. I mean, I guess as a photographer, you like to take photos having sex, maybe? Is that a thing? I guess I should answer that. Maybe it's a thing. I don't know. But really, man, I haven't even gotten into the comments on this Reddit thread, which honestly is not as much as should. There's only like 444, but in defense, us wedding photographers don't really hang out on Reddit. Like we're on Instagram, so that's where you see the convos. Don't worry, I've got some good responses. Now, the next part blows my mind, but I could understand not understanding this as a business owner. I could understand not comprehending the distinction as a business owner. I haven't responded yet, but what's the best thing to do here? She hired me for a job and the job was completed and the product was delivered. But I also feel like this would be as if I were a professional dog walker who walked a client's dog, then came back and shot it later. That's graphic. I mean, I guess, sort of, and she continues, which is gonna be my point. Of course, the second shooter is considered a private contractor and not an employee. Anyways, what's the best thing to do here? I really feel for this lady, but that's a lot of money to have to give back for work that was done. Okay, let's break this down. She is absolutely correct. When you hire someone in a freelance contractor position, you are responsible for them, but only on the day of the job. You have liability insurance, workman's comp, and I don't know if it covers stuff. Do you think liability insurance covers emotional damages? I mean, it does. Does it? No. Okay. Maybe your liability insurance does not cover emotional damages from sexual activity on the job. With a contractor, like, you are responsible for them the day of the wedding. If that photographer slept with the groom at the wedding, then I feel like, yes, you probably are going to be sued for like emotional damages of some kind. Although you should have that in your contract. I have it in my contract. By the way, here's a clause in case you would like to copy it. Very important contract to have. So if you take a picture of them that it's emotionally damaging because, oh, my double chin is showing or my nose hairs are coming out, whatever it is, like I can't be sued because the photo I took or whatever job, it's emotionally damaging to you in any way. So you want to have that in there. But because this did not happen the day of the wedding, she's not responsible. That's not my problem. And it's also not really like you were a professional dog walker and came back and shot the dog. Now, if you, the main photographer that was contracted, your business, and you slept with your own client, that's, I think, a different story. But in this case, it's not your fault.
You know what, I just think it's weird because there's nothing in the law that says, even if you slept with the groom on the day of the wedding, she's not entitled to a refund. Since when does somebody who cheats on another person have to pay them monetary unless it's a divorce? Where there's a legally binding contract between the two people on a personal level.
That's true. I mean, your business level, there really is no recourse. I guess you're right.
I just don't think there's any legal recourse for the poor woman. Sorry you married a shithead, but there's no legal recourse, especially from the photographer. If anything, she can sue him, depending on what state they get married, based on the divorce laws.
Right.
The divorce settlement could be emotional damages.
Right.
But that has nothing to do
No,
with
yeah, you're right. You know what? Because your contracts...
The hussy mistress ever get fined monetarily.
That's true. Yeah, the hussy mistress gets out free and clear. So if you were looking for an absolute no-guilt solution... Just kidding. Yeah, it's true. And again, if it happened the day of the wedding, I could even say you would have some sort of responsibility because you were hired to do a job, and you're not doing your job if you're having sex in the bathroom, which reminds me of a great story. People always ask me, what's the craziest thing that happens on wedding days? Well, you know what? Stuff like this does happen on wedding days, and admittedly, not with anyone I've ever hired, but someone filming this hired once. It was a guy online, and he was so nice. He was like super nice, super personable. He messaged Rob and was like, I just want to follow you. And we do get messages like that a lot. And every once in a while, if we can oblige, like we do. One, we enjoy the extra help. We do pay them, but we enjoy the extra help, fresh set of eyes, and we want to bring people up in the industry. But this guy found someone that like he sort of met at a bar one time, and she was at the wedding, and it was at the Pleasantdale Chateau, which is like a really nice wedding venue here in New Jersey. And we'll call him John. I don't remember his name. John disappeared for quite some time, and the two of them were seen coming out of a dark corner, fixing themselves. So this stuff does happen at weddings. It absolutely does. So I did post this on Instagram. So we polled people from Instagram for some solutions to this. And here's what we got. Oh, Fabio says, take her, the wife, as a second shooter to his wedding with the assistant if they get married. Somebody actually said refund, absolutely refund. Someone said, Tom Hart said, better call Saul. This is one of my favorites. Discount her next wedding. That should do it. I was gonna email the groom for the additional a la carte matchmaker add-on. Oh, as the primary shooter, offer to sleep with the bride for revenge. Another great suggestion, updating my contract today. Photographer and their associates agrees to not fornicate with client nor client's groom or bride. I mean, obviously not with the client. Email one simple line. Ma'am, this is a Wendy's. All right, so what happened? What happened? Let me see if she responded, if we have any update on any of this. This ridiculousness. Oh, it's from Wedding Dude. So apparently it was a guy that hired this girl. So what actually happened? We've got some updates. We've got comments from Wedding Dude. So the photographer asked his second shooter for her side of the story, and apparently she completely denied it. Just wasn't me. Called me in the shower. Wasn't me. Saw me banging on the sofa. Wasn't me. She even caught me on camera. Saw me banging in the bridal suite. He was asked to provide photos. He said, I'd rather not provide photos, but she's early 20s, black hair, lots of tattoos.
Slut.
So, we don't use that word. Do not slut shame. The second shooter initially denied it, but then after prodding and the photographer showed the photos, she said that he claimed they were in an open relationship. So she thought it was okay. You know, it's just, even if they are in an open relationship, like, just, no, go somewhere else. Like, there's so many other places, so many places to go. The images would be considered pornographic. That's what he said. This is why we can't see them. The images would be considered pornographic. Oh my goodness. Oh, and even though the wedding photographer found the second shooter online, it wasn't a total stranger. It was a friend of someone that the main photographer had worked with in the past. So a little bit of a referral, but yeah. And that's it. That's what we have. So, wow, there's the tea. I spilled the tea. This is coffee. This is not tea. My second photographer slept with a groom. Share your stories. Also, huge thank you to John Hawking Photo for getting me this Kiss t-shirt. It is awesome. Rock on. Let me tell you about this video sponsor, Squarespace. I have been using Squarespace for probably over a decade. Squarespace is a platform where you can create beautiful custom websites in just a few minutes. Choose from a plethora of templates where you can easily plug and play your own work. It's an all-in-one platform for building your brand and growing your business online. We all know that an online presence is crucial for your brand, so build one that stands out. Head over to this link for my exclusive 10% discount on your first domain at Squarespace.